dog had an accident 2.5 weeks ago in the forest, and he came back from the forest with an open something, and then I saw it wasn't the tail, it was something out of the stomach, So, and this was like, oh shit. And I was 1 kilometer in the forest with a 42-kilogram dog, So
Hello world, I'm Ask Me and I'm here sitting at Club Neuraum in Munich. Thank you guys for giving us the possibility to use the venue. We are here at the first MIXCONline talking while the Corona lockdown to festival promoters, artists, managers, etc. Our first panel is with great people from great festivals. I want to welcome Carrie from Mysteryland. I want to welcome Bernd from World Club Dome. I want to welcome Anders from Summerburst at Lollapalooza, Sweden. And I want to welcome Cone from Freshtival and Under the Radar from Holland. Hi guys. Before we started the talking, you guys outside have the chance on Slido to add your questions. And the highest rated question will be asked to these great guys by end of our talks. And so keep asking, and ask me. Okay, guys. So my first question, on Slido you have to hashtag MIXCONline. MIXCONline. So my first questions for you guys. The whole festival season 2020 is cancelled. What does it mean for your company? I want to start with the lady first. Carrie, how about you at Mysteryland?
Well, if you look at it from a business perspective, obviously, well, all our revenue sources are basically vanished within one press conference for the rest of the year, or like for the rest of the summer, which is basically the rest of the year as well, because we do not do so many conferences in the winter, conferences, festivals in the winter. So that is one thing that it meant from us from a business perspective. From a creative perspective, this means that we well need to maybe reinvent ourselves and find new creative solutions to generate revenue and to actually make a business in different solutions. Well, we do not have a definite answer yet, and there are different models, but we are certainly investigating that.
Anders, how about you?
Yeah, well, it's hard, of course, and it's hard to look into the future and see. I mean, one year you can have a bad year also, and you survive. But the most scaring part is, of course, can we do next summer? That is the biggest question, I think, because I mean, this is big festivals, and many people that have to come and buy a ticket to afford to have the festival. So that is, I think, that is the most scary thing. I mean, we're Live Nation, both festivals, so we will survive, of course. But I mean, you just have to see that you can. Some of the festival won't make it, and I think that's sad. Even if it's competition, I mean, you always get better if you have good competition also in your market.
Yeah.
So that is maybe cheesy thing to say, but I think all festivals should get some help from the government. But still, I don't think everyone will make it.
How about you, Cohen, with Festival and Under the Radar?
Yeah, well, that's like two festivals. I think with the press conference in March, we had to cancel 10 festivals. We have some indoor events after September, but the chance that will go through, I think, is a minimum. So I think we anticipate on an empty year for our calendar, and also like the rumors that go through the government with 2021. It's pretty uncertain how our future for 2021 looks, and like already was said, you have to be get creative and see how you get other revenue, but it's pretty hard because we are focused on events above 5,000. That's the smallest event, and the biggest event is yeah, it's too big. I mean, I think we're the last one who can start doing stuff when the lockdown is over. So it's like soccer and festivals. So yeah, you can host parties for 300 people, but yeah, you cannot pay your people in the office with small events. So of course we're looking into it, and we have to be creative. It's also good to get creative again, and maybe because you're doing events for so long, you maybe are laid back, so it's good for the creative mindset. But yeah, it's pretty hard, the uncertainty.
How about you, Bernd?
Yeah, well, World Club Dome, I mean, it was hard for us as well. I never expected that when we did the winter edition in January, this would be the first and the last event of the whole festival season. And it came to this sad point. But, you know, I mean, we did different things during the lockdown with the World Club Dome roof sessions and so on, to keep the connection to the community, to show them that even if in hard times, even when you don't buy tickets, you get a good vibration, and our mission of bringing a good weekend feeling to the people, even if there are crazy times. And yeah, I mean, we had the time to think about it's really hard to say, but the positive way of, I mean, you have the time, you can think about everything. I mean, if I compare it to last year, we were like in a tunnel, jumping from the snow edition to the winter edition, and from space to the ship, and so on. And then we had the time now to recalibrate and think about what we reached and what we can do now during these times. And I mean, we did this with the car cinema, so I'm really happy that it was like a good thing for the whole industry in the world. And yeah, we'll see what it happens. I mean, to be honest, I'm not so scared about 2021 because if this would happen, so you wouldn't have any mass events in sports like soccer and so on, and this cannot work, definitely not work. And if this would happen, so we have a collapse not only in the entertainment industry, we would have a collapse in the whole sport industry and so on. So what I expect is we have so many good scientists and everywhere in the world, laboratories and good companies and so on, that I mean, this is only question of time when we have the medicine for doing this and when we have it under control. And this is what I expect. Otherwise, we're talking about really bad scenarios. What I don't want to even think about it. I want to take this time now, as it is the time, and we can't change it, but we can change our minds a little bit and can see what we can find as opportunities. Yeah, to keep yeah our community alive, and this is maybe the best thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So you sound very positive. Yeah. So we all hope it goes on next year because it's our life. So all of you guys already mentioned it. What are you trying to come up with different events, parties, models this year? Are you planning everything? So Bernd already mentioned the rooftop, what he's doing, and some car events. What they're at the moment in Germany, I think every city opening a car cinema. Yeah. So how about you two guys in Netherlands? Koen, do you have car cinemas in Netherlands?
The government does not permit at the moment any car cinemas or car events because you have to build structures, and for structures you need permits, and they don't give out permits at the moment. I think that will change in the very near future because I think everybody's ready to go and do something. I think the young people want to do stuff like that, you know. So you see, I live near the German border, so I'm almost German. But yeah, you see it at Index.
Yeah, yeah.
Kein Problem band.
Bottrop, Index, everywhere.
This Saturday, Düsseldorf, come over and check it. We do the cinema stuff with the Schuk.
Yeah, but I mean, there are a lot of plans in Holland to do that, and I think it can work. I don't see at the moment really how you get the revenue from that because you can ask entrance fees. I've heard some entrance fees for car discos in Germany because I don't think you can sell like drinks. I mean, in Holland it's not possible. I mean, alcohol and cars driving is like a little deadly combination. But I think it's a pretty hard business model to keep up if you're not in a big city. For Amsterdam, of course, there's a lot of people living around that. But where we live is like it's the east. There's not so many people living here. But I can see it working at Index and Zak, Disco Zak also. That's near us. But I think it's like a one-time visit. I don't think if you go there like every week to hang in a car with your friend you see already like for months, probably, and honking on the horn. I think it's really creative, but yeah, for us it's pretty hard to do it and get some revenue out of it.
For my opinion, I think this is something for concerts more, like for acts, bands, but for our music, we do dance music, and I don't know if it really makes sense to sit in a car and dance. So how about in Sweden? But is there anything happening like this?
No, we do. We cannot be, even if we can be 50 people and have been permitted to be 50 people at every time. You cannot do the car thing because you're going to be 4 or 5 people in the car, and even if you're in the car, you can only be 50 people at one place. And they have been a little bit scared of people gathering around also. So you have to do it in a place that people cannot gather to see this. But I mean, you have to try to come up with something new. I think it's hard to can do small things, of course, and then you're gonna have an artist that maybe gonna play, if they open up to 500 people. Maybe you have an artist that plays 5 days in a row in the same place. We have had that before with artists before the lockdown. But I think the beautiful thing about this, the streams and everything, it's good, but comfortably enough is that you see that the fans, they want to go and see live things. So I don't think we're going to change our behavior and want to see you two on a stream instead of going to the stadium and see it. That's comforting. But what you should do for revenues now, if you cannot have an uplift on a ticket or add something to it, but you still have to do the concert to add more value, I think. Because I mean, for festivals now, it's such a big income that you need to have the artist and I think to have it popular. But I think for streams and things, I have to say that all the artists are in the studios now to promote, to help the artists for the festival promotes, I think, to be more connected with the artists and do things together to promote their music. So when we come out of this, it's going to be everyone is going to know more about the music scene, because I think it goes a little bit up and down in the electronic scene, who's just want to go and party, and the real fans that they love the music and love DJs and know more about them. So I think do more stuff to make the big audience know more about the music and the artist. It's going to help us when we come out of this.
Yeah. What about you, Carrie? What do you think about this car cinema concept?
Well, I've personally never been, but one of my colleagues has, and he actually really enjoyed it, but said that it's not a replacement for a festival, but it is now a temporary alternative for the times that we are living in right now. And I think that's with all the measures that we are taking and all the things that we try to offer to the people, it's just, it feels like a plan B. All the streams, all the radio shows, everything, which might have been like a filler in between shows. Yeah, that is now what we are working with. So we do it as well with Mysteryland. We have an online show as well, and we do restreams of sets from last year. But yeah, it is to dive in memories or to just build the bridge to when actually festivals are happening again. But it's definitely not a replacement.
Okay. So this question goes more about the financial thing, but not about your financial thing. Will this crisis, what do you expect? Will this crisis lower the fees, like the DJ fees and also the ticket prices? Because that's something what you decide. So do you think when it comes up next year, you have to go down with the ticket price because you maybe ask the DJs will go down with the fees? So what is the plan for this, Anders?
I think I don't necessarily think that we have to lower the tickets price, because I think people are going to be so excited to go to things again. I think we should think about and talk about the fees for the artists, because they have in some way get out of hand. But I think when people have so much time to make the music now also, I hope it would even out a bit. And I don't know if the whole business as you want it to be reset and start from scratch. I think it will be one bidding war, and that's then it's over for lower fees. Sadly, I think so. And maybe we don't have to lower the fees if we can sell the tickets either way for the same prices, but we have to we have to help each other for the next year, just to cope and come back from this. I mean, many of the artists, they can do a reduced fee and still pay their bills, and hopefully they understand that so many people more than us promoters that they have to deal with, good or bad, all the time. All the guys that work to build the stages and everything, they haven't had any income for many months now. So I would rather help to pay them and pay. I want the headliners and everything to get a pay cut because they can afford it. It's obvious. I don't want the smaller artists to have a pay cut at all. I mean, it should be a ladder, how much money you make and how much percentage you can take out of it. I mean, we have to help the young creative or the one that's struggle to keep the scene amazing. More or less like that.
What about you, Bernd? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, my experience is that we have agents. Their arguments are they are losing at the moment a lot of money, so they have to compensate it. This is one argument. The other argument on the other side is we are one big family in this way, and we have to take it and we have to look for it. But I mean, what Anders says is maybe about only 20 headliners or 30 headliners, or I don't know, yeah, who pay a lot of money. Or I don't see it with the smaller artists, like Anders said as well. But I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward about for the reactions of these agents and for the artists, because on the agent side we have big troubles as well. And as we talked now before we went online, there are a lot of people, yeah, who has to leave their agencies and was fired now, and now incomes and so on. And if there is now the percentage of the big income from the superstar, so I mean, everything is like yeah, a big disaster. But what I think is that people are really happy if it goes again to some festivals. And when I can get a little step back for this car cinemas, I totally agree that it's only a moment of giving people some feelings about it, but it can be never a replacement of people staying together and celebrate together and has this mass feeling to be one in front of this big stage. So and so I wouldn't expect that we can, as a big event, we can lower the ticket prices. And I don't think that it's necessary to do it, because if we want to have the quality, if we want to have the quality what we had before, we have to pay the people. And even what Anders mentioned as well, all these construction guys and so on, yeah, I mean, they have no money income and so on. So I mean, yeah, it's like, if people want to have a quality event, I guess they need to pay the fees what was already. It would be great if we can maybe do an association or so on, yeah, with the promoters together and so on, to find maybe a way to talk to the agents, to the artists and so on, to yeah, maybe force it that it's I mean, a World Club Dome costs millions of millions, as Lollapalooza, as every of these festivals there. People might think that, oh, a ticket price for 125 euros for 3 days is a lot, and you sell the Coke for 3 or 4 euros, yeah. In the supermarket, the Coke costs 80 cents. So what are you doing with all the money and so on? So, I mean, it's really important that people understand our situation, and that we can maybe bring it to like an association or so on, yeah, that we can explain our current situation, and that we build this trust that, yeah, we can go back to a quality event.
Okay. Oh, are you guys agreeing in the Netherlands?
Yes, well, I'm agreeing that probably it will not be the case that ticket prices are being lowered, because it would also be unfair to the fans that have already purchased the tickets now. I don't know how it is with other festivals, but in the Netherlands we have this initiative which is called Save Your Ticket, for which then fans get a chance to keep their ticket for next year, or maybe get a voucher for another festival of their liking from the same business. So to keep the business alive. And if we now offered tickets for a cheaper price next year, we basically would slap the fans in the face that now supported us and kept their ticket and didn't ask for a refund. So I think just from a moral perspective, it would be very difficult to lower ticket prices. Maybe it would be an idea to invent a new ticket category for lower fare, but then but that would need to be we would need to think about that. But lowering the ticket prices for now would probably not be an option for us. Artist fees, I'm agreeing with everything that has been said so far.
So you said it already, Carrie. I want to ask you, Koen, are you planning, so let's say 2021 is happening, are you planning any special for your customers, for these people who are holding the tickets and not giving back?
Well, of course, we are discussing the whole situation with the refunds and tickets. Is a very delicate issue in the Netherlands at the moment. It's pretty hard even to talk about this because it's going to be online. I mean, refunds is the scary word right now in the moment for museums, festivals, clubs, everything. Like Carrie said, they have Save the Summer, Save the Ticket. They have a lot of initiatives. They have the government put in a lot of money, like 300 million for the cultural sector. But of course, festivals are not in that sector. I don't think they will spend money on commercial events.
But are you?
That's okay.
But are you planning? So let's say okay, keep the tickets. But are you planning any special to your people keeping the tickets for next year?
Yeah, like what do you mean? Like you get a free T-shirt or what?
I don't know. So as example, I because I know Bernd a little bit more and his business way. So what Clubroom is doing one day more. Yeah. So are you planning something like this as well? Maybe an extra headliner or free merch or one day more or whatever.
Mele, I know you always want extra headliners. I know, but we talk a lot about the headliners. But no, at the moment we're not discussing it. We are trying to close 2020 like on a correct way. We talk about like everyone says to suppliers, crew, like smaller companies. If they don't exist in 2021, we don't have a festival. We probably have stages, but we hear a lot of companies in Holland that have a really bad time at the moment, like big companies. They invested a lot of money for the 2020 season, and they cannot hold up their pants, how to say that in in English, for the next year. So it's I think every organizer is going to be very creative for next year, and I think it's better for us to keep up the small companies, that the suppliers, the crew, also the food, the toilet delivery, everything. If that doesn't exist next year anymore, we don't have a festival, and we're going to be very, very busy next year with the four of us. So yeah, of course, the visitors are first place. Then come suppliers and agencies and whatnot. But I think, the artists are last. And I think festivals are going to be more creative with the lineup for next year, because do we need like 20 headliners? I think not.
Okay. Anders, how about you? Are you planning any special for next year, or also finishing 2020 and planning 21 new?
Yeah, we have gone out with we have canceled the Lollapalooza and Sunburst, and we have pretty much the same thing for them. If you keep your tickets, you get a voucher for either food or drinks for next year. I'm not really scared. I used to the the word scared a lot, but I should choose that shouldn't choose that. But we don't have so much people that is returning tickets. In Sunburst, we're at 10%, and they can still for 2 weeks now return the tickets. And I'm not so scared of them not buying it next year. Of course, you have some costs this year that you would like to keep some of the money, and of course, if you have so many tickets buy from the starts, it's good. We know that ticket sells tickets, so we use the voucher thing, and then we have every month we have a competition that you can win certain things like an upgrade to premium ticket or a meet and greet or something like that. So we keep them with something for each month.
Okay. How about you, Carrie?
Well, we are thinking also about a special, but on the other hand, we would first like to get the basics straight and figure that out before we can plan anything on top. Obviously, budget-wise, but also like infrastructure-wise. So yeah, we think about nice things to add on top, but we cannot promise anything at the moment as we're still figuring it all out.
Okay. Ben, how about you? So I already told that you're giving an extra day. Can you explain how this day will look like, or do you have any further specials planned for next year? If you keep the ticket,
we have a bank holiday on. Pardon me.
If you keep the ticket, I think this is only for people keep the ticket, right?
Yeah. So I mean, the fourth day was it was a good thing because the next year on the World Club weekend we have a bank holiday on Thursday, so it was like an opportunity to open this gates as well, even if we have some campsites, small campsites in the middle of the city and so on, and to bring this. How it will look exactly, we don't know, but we want to open the main stage outdoor. We want to open maybe some other stages, and we'll see about now how many people will keep the tickets so that they can use it. I mean, then we have the winter edition. I mean, it's with a big question mark if the winter edition will happen in January 2021. But as I said in the beginning, that I think that the government, or if the government is going over this year and we don't have this virus stuff under control, so we have another big problem. And what we expect is that the Christmas markets are the first big events. They will open maybe, and then in January it will start again with almost a normal season, because what you see now in Germany and in a lot of countries, that every week there are some reducements of the lockdown policies and so on. So you cannot even plan something at the moment. But I mean, 2 weeks ago we had to keep every window closed at the car festival stuff and so on. Now it's allowed to go with a cabrio or with a convertible open roof. Now it's allowed to open the windows and so on. So I mean, we have to see, we are early in the year of 2020, and there is a lot of time now. But of course, if you plan like a big festival or a big event, so you have to plan it now or maybe in 2 months or so on. And looking forward what possibilities we have then from the government to plan in a more safer way. But it was the opportunity to make the fourth day, so we did it, and it was a really nice announcement that we say, okay, because of this, what happened and so on, so we give you a fourth day on top. But I totally understand that this is not the normal thing, and that no festival can do only a day more, even if this is not a bank holiday. So, and yeah, everybody has to think about this.
So I had rumors that maybe the government thinking about if festivals happening, then maybe do the hygienic standard without camping. Is it for you, Cone, an option to let your festival happening without camping?
Well, that would be a bummer. after after 3 years and already canceling the. Well, this year it was the idea to do like a 3-day festival with camping, and like our camping is almost 80-90% German. I think, I don't know. I mean, if the government says we have to, we have to. I mean, the festival is not, the camping is not holy or sacred to the festival. Of course, it's like it helps with the vibe and stuff like that. But we host other festivals without campsites, so
Okay.
we follow the rules and the guidelines we get from the government. But no, it's not ideal. Of course not.
Okay. How about you? How
Sorry,
about you,
yeah.
Anders? Would you let your festival happening without camping?
Yeah, I will, because we don't have camping.
Oh,
We don't
okay.
have in Lollapalooza. We don't have camping on Sunburst. I don't think we have any major festival in Sweden right now with camping,
Okay.
actually. So
Right.
that is not a really big thing, because most of the festivals are close to the cities now. So that is not really a problem for us.
Okay. How about Mystery Land, Carrie?
I mean, same as Kuhn said. If the government tells us to not do it, we of course oblige, but we hold our camping very, very dear in our hearts. And it would be a huge bummer and a huge disappointment for us, because the camping for Mysteryland is an essential part of the festival. It has its own lineup. It has a lot of, yeah, it is just a very essential part. It has its own opening ceremony. So letting that go for a year would be, yeah, just almost a traumatic experience for us. But we have gone through this year, so we could also do a version without camping.
Okay.
Only we have to.
How about you, Bernd?
Well, same as Anders. We have only a small campsite for people who like this festival atmosphere, but we are in the middle of a city in Frankfurt, and we have 40,000 hotel beds. And so for us, it's not so important, but I totally understand for people who are somewhere in the outfields or somewhere else. So how do you will control all the traffic, yeah, if you go every day back to the cities and then coming back on the other day? So this could be a really big problem as well. But of course, I mean, if the government says we have to do it in this way, so we have to do it in this way.
So we are talking about that's happen 2021. Yeah. Will you rise up your hygienic standards if you have any? I'm sure all of you have one, but I think the government will ask for much better concepts, as every festival has. Will you rise it up for next year, Carrie?
Surely, I mean, we will do everything to yeah, let the festival go through in a safe and hygienic way. And as soon as the standards are released for that festivals need to oblige to, we will totally set everything up and try to comply, or well, try and make it happen that we fulfill all the hygienic standards. But I personally expect that the hygienic standards need to be risen next year, and yeah, we are certainly ready to go and work on a concept for that.
Colin?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think Mystery Land also has like a really creative, also on the camping side, but at the terrain, you can do like creative stuff even with like washing streets or whatever, you know. You can make a party of the hygienic standards, but yeah, I think in Holland we follow the guidelines, and we also say that we follow the guidelines, but yeah, we do it like that. We're the Dutch.
How about in Sweden?
Yeah, I mean, I think the rule book is going to be quite extensive next year, but I don't think it would necessarily be a problem. I think the same there. Let's be creative with it. Let's have a sponsor and partnership get more involved with it. I mean, I think there's many things to be done there. It's just to see that it's not going to be so many queues to get in every single stages. But I think that is a small thing. I think if every festival would make that work without any major problem.
So, had you chance to talk to any local politician or maybe for a government from your local city to talk about the plans, what is going happening, and what will be the next step for this crisis? Bernd?
Well, we have a lot of contacts on the government side, but they don't know what happened, and they are waiting for the ideas of the experts and waiting for the new medicine and so on. So nobody can tell you at the moment. What we see is that every week we got a little bit more or less of this lockdown stuff, and but I guess in this situation, no politician would say anything about things because they cannot handle it at the moment. Yeah, and the only thing is we have to wait and have to follow the standards, what is set for this week, for the next week, and so on. And yeah, keep doing our creative way and waiting for the end of the lockdown.
How about in the easiest country, Sweden, Anders?
Yeah, I mean, I think like Bernd, no politicians are going to dare to say when it's going to be open and what we can do and for how many people. I think it's so many decisions. Even if we are in Sweden now, we listen to what every other country doing, and for Sunburst we have mostly Swedish persons that so we're gonna survive even if we have closed borders. But yeah, I think we just have to wait and see.
Colin?
Yeah, well, in Holland they have every Tuesday they have like the government new rules and regulations, so that we keep a close eye on that. But also like they give like the councillors of every city some degree of freedom to make some rules for the cities themselves. I mean, the city where I live is totally different than the city in Amsterdam. So you have to have certain rules for certain cities, but yeah, we are like a big event, so we have to follow the guidelines from the Dutch government. That doesn't change anything.
How about you, Carrie, as the longest existing festival?
Well, as I said, the initiative Save Your Ticket has also been created in collaboration with certain governmental institutions, for example, the Ministry of Culture and Events, and it has a very long name, and the Ministry of Economy. So there was a dialogue between governmental parties and the cultural sector. I also heard that some, like not me personally, but some people from the industry have been invited to speak to certain governmental parties, and I think even the king. So there is definitely an opportunity for our sector to raise their voices. And how far they are being heard, that's for the future to tell.
Is it a way, or do you think it's possibility to have your festival going on with social distancing, Bernd?
Well, I mean, we can put some circles in the stadium and can let, I don't know how many people inside, but for this, it's not going to work because the DNA of a big event, of a festival, or so on, is that you are close together with a neighbor and that you have this feeling of being one. And I don't think that we can give this as a yeah, an image what people already had during the normal time. So then I would really think about canceling World Club Dome for this year's if we have like only 1,000 people in a big stadium, because this is from the feeling and so on. It's not possible.
How about you, Cone?
I totally agree. I mean, it's maybe fun to see like videos on YouTube where they have like lines,
Yes.
like little squares where people dance inside, and it feels like if you're looking at DJ Ask Me, you know. But no, I don't think it's gonna work social distancing for a festival. You want to be on top of your friend on a neck, you know. You want to go into mosh pits. That's the festival feeling, you know.
So maybe you all sell hula hoops, like have the square
Yeah.
meter, and then you can dance with the hula hoops. So how about you, Anders? Would you let your festival happen with social distancing?
I mean, it's. I agree. It would be very very hard. I mean, if you would have, you can get 500 people in each sector, and then would have their own entrance and with their own bathrooms and such. But I mean, if you're gonna do stadiums, the stadiums are not built to have enclosed 500 people in 20 different. Might look like that, but I think it would be quite impossible. And then do it out in a stadium, and then we'd have it on the field also.
And how you want to do this with a stage or with if you don't sell the tickets, you know, or with a lineup and so on. So it's impossible. You
Yeah.
need the amount of people, you need this feeling, and you need it economy-wise that you can run a festival like a festival, you know. So I see there are big problems. I guess it cannot be existing like social distancing together with a festival.
Or
It's
you
not
teach,
possible.
or you teach the
I don't,
crowd square dance, the new square dance festival.
Yeah. We do it
I
next
don't,
week on
I don't,
Sunday. We do a pool session with 50 people or 100 people. This is the first event now after this car cinema stuff. What we do in Germany. So we'll see what happens with this 100 people. But this is like an experiment and has nothing to do with the real vibration and the experience of a World Club Dome or any other festival.
I think you agree, Carrie?
Yeah, I do agree heavily. I mean, we are serving one of the basic human needs with the festival, which is mixing and mingling with other people, getting to know other people, being in connection with them. And that stands in total contrast to social distancing. So the whole purpose and the whole intention behind the festival would be destroyed if we need, yeah, if social distancing is a requirement. So yeah, and as I said in the beginning, it would only be a very bad alternative B.
Yeah. So that was my questions. So let's see what Slido is giving us. What questions people have for you guys. So Steph asking, when will it be possible to have smaller festival like with up to 500 people, or will this never carry the cost? Bernd.
This is exactly what I said before.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes.
I can't repeat myself, or I mean, it was, yeah. You cannot do a festival with 500 people. I mean, you don't even do a club with 500 people normally, you know, to get this feeling, the vibration, and of course the costs. Yeah, so it would be a cheesy stage. It would be, or even no stage. It would no. It's not possible.
Cohen, what do you think?
No.
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 Anders?
No.
I don't think people would buy tickets. I think the thing that you're gonna have in a festival for 500 people, no one wants to buy that ticket because it's going to be too little. You can listen to the music at home then.
Carrie?
Well, it would only make financial sense if one ticket costs a lot of money and you would make it very exclusive. Then maybe it could work. But then again, it's also not in the DNA of a festival to only have it for 500 people and make it have a festival feeling.
And maybe it causes a little bit problems with your normal audience if you sell maybe 500 people tickets for 10,000 euros or so on. Yeah, so I guess your image will be gone.
But you would need to create a fire festival that worked.
Do it. Do it.
Hey,
Let's do it together.
Yeah.
the Corona Festival.
Corona Festival.
Yeah.
Sponsored
I
by,
know
sponsored by
maybe I know
Corona
which
beer.
sponsor.
So another question, I don't know if he read who is attending, but I ask you anyways, even if you're not a club promoter, will there be at least smaller club parties this year? What are you guys thinking? Anders?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you can do club things for 500 people. Of course, you have to start somewhere. Also, we have to understand that if we open up the whole community here, some people are going to be scared to not have social distancing. So I think for Sunburst we have pre-parties, and those pre-parties, if we would be able to have done it this year, even if we have the lockdown for only a few months, I think the pre-parties are really important, so people can start getting in smaller clubs to see that everything is fine, hopefully, and to go from there. Of course, going from 50 people to 15,000 people, it could be quite scary if you don't have any friends that have been to the clubs for 500 people and up. So I think we have to start there, and I mean, the artists, they need gigs now, so I think it's a really good way to start building an artist also. So 500 people is possible.
Kerstin asking, it's about headliner. Who will be your favorite artist headliner to book for the first time when you are allowed to open up again? Carrie.
Good question. Well, we are still debating on whether we, in how far we can move the whole lineup from one year to the next.
Just give us a name. Give us a name.
Sorry?
Give us a name.
The mystery guest.
The mystery, exactly, the mystery guest.
Okay. Cone, the fresh guest.
No, I have a really. There's an artist like he lives in Germany actually. It's a guy who's really up and coming. It's called Ask Me or something like that. I would like to.
That's a good answer, my homeboy from Netherlands.
And he actually pays the production to perform at the festival.
Yeah,
so
because hey, every artist
good,
needs a good production. When the festival promoter can't handle it, then you have to present yourself.
Yeah.
Anders.
Yeah, well,
no, give us a name. Give us a name.
Well, I had some artists that I have worked for a couple. For instance, and you know this, I've been trying to get Chami to Enschede for a long time, but I had some exclusivity issues initially.
Okay.
And no, it's no problem. We live too far away to have beef. But I mean, it was like I've asked him for 4 years to perform, and now we actually had him. It's like shit. I had to cancel him.
Oh,
So
fuck.
that was like a. But I also had to cancel Andre Hazes, so that was also really bad to do. You know. So
Anders.
no, I don't have no favorite.
Anders, which name?
I don't know if it's a headliner maybe for Sweden, but I would love to see Dylan Francis in all his different shapes and forms. I mean, just to record a introduction video and would be really funny, I think.
Bernd.
Well, I want to do a poster for 2021, which I did for 2020 with the names on it, because it was one of the most wonderful lineups what we had, with a mix of any kind of club music, electronic and hip hop artists and so on. So I cannot tell you a name. Of course, I have my big buddies like Steve Aoki and Timmy Trumpet with a really big friendship, and they will be on every event. But I mean, yeah, we have 250 artists, and I cannot point out somebody I want to have or I miss it or so on. I mean, it's the whole experience, the whole vibration of everything, and so I cannot tell you.
Question for you, Brand, from Franco. Where do you get all these crazy ideas from, like airplane, pool square dance, and so on? I never saw pool square dance, but the other ones.
Maybe I just mentioned it that we do something in the pool, and this is maybe the question for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where did I get these crazy ideas? I mean, I sit here on my computer in this room. What you see behind me, have sometimes a half bottle of wine, maybe one bottle, maybe two bottles, and then there are
Maybe
coming
more.
some ideas. I mean, and that's it. And then next day when I come to the office and say I have a new idea, so my staff always said, "Oh shit, again? Okay, we're supposed to do it." And then yeah, sometimes it's good, sometimes not. But I mean, there was some good things in the last years. Yeah.
Next question from our watchers is: do big DJs actually support the event scene without wanting something back? Gary?
So the question is, do they actually support the event? Yes, we have a couple and actually a lot of acts that do support the event as well, and also are always up for some crazy ideas. For example, last year we had Fire Beats opening up our zip line that we had on the festival. Lucas and Steve were putting on some crazy bathing suits, which was really cool. And then we have just crazy acts that just from themselves, like really for some cool ideas. So and yeah, also marketing wise, we can approach a lot of artists, and they're just willing to support the event. So yeah.
Anders?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I hope they are supporting. I mean, they're of course some acts do more than others. It's always going to be like that. I think some doesn't do interviews and things like that. As I said, I think the key thing is to get the audience to know the artist more, and don't ask the same questions every time. What kind of ice cream would you be, or something stupid like that? Though, more do your homework and what's new, and ask them before what they want to talk about. So then you get more out of the artist, I think. But I think also, of course, the artist could be sometimes a little bit more supportive. Take a day, just do some shout outs, and I mean, the fans are so happy that when they do that. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Our next question from Lena: if 2021 festivals will be allowed again, do you think they will be as big as in 2019? Cole?
Well, I think in the Netherlands, of course, I think also Germany at the moment is pretty huge with festivals, but Holland's like saturated with festivals. I think at the moment you see like the whole. I mean, we have like WhatsApp groups with all the promoters in one app group. It's pretty interesting to see. Um, well, I think there's going to be a lot of festivals that are not going to be there next year because they don't have like the or the insurance, all the whole financial stuff in order. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the festival landscape is going to look next year in Holland. It has possibly opportunities for a lot of people to dive into that part in the Netherlands also. But I think yeah, big. Of course, I hope like for festival we have like 50,000. Of course, I hope 50,000. But if like the consumer confidence is not there, yeah, we have to scale the event, you know. But yeah, of course, I hope it's not that we are the only one who are canceled. Everything's canceled. So I hope nothing really changed. But it all comes back to the confidence of the consumer who goes to the festival.
How about you, Ben? What do you think about in Germany?
Yeah, I don't know. So the
That's
problem
also an
is,
answer.
huh?
That's also an answer.
I mean, what was the question again?
You can read it, so, but I read it for you again. If
No,
2021,
2019 to 2021, what I think is, and I explained it a lot in this conversation here, I guess the amount of people will be the same or more from the vibrations and what the people didn't get in 2020. Of course, there's a financial thing. If people have no work or so on and not able to pay for the tickets, so this maybe could be a problem. So nobody knows this if there's a percentage of 20%, 30%, or so on. But I expect that. We can have the same size of events in 2021, even bigger.
okay. How about in Sweden?
No, I agree. I think, the streams are not going to be enough. I think it shows quite well that people want to go to live things. So I think it's going to go great. Actually, I think it's going to go better than ever. Even if it's going to be so many things that's going to be pushed from 2020 to 2021, of course. But there's so many different things that are being pushed also. I mean, people want to do more things next year, I think, and it's going to be there. So I think we're going to be back. But then you have to calculate with the financial loss for this year also, of course. So I think it would continue. Next year, we would see what happened. But I think in the future, I think people want to go and see live things.
Jesse is asking, quite personal. I'm an event management student, 4th semester, and I planned having internship, starting my career, etc. Do you think I will have issues next years, Carrie?
Next year, if the festival season is going to go through, I don't think that you're going to be having issues finding an internship, because I guess we will need a lot of hands to help out on many different aspects. And even like, let's say we want to prepare a special for our fans. Well, then this would also need more workforce. So there's always, I think, room if an event goes through to have extra help and to also teach something to upcoming industry professionals. I think right now it would be an issue, but if it's next year and events go through, I think you would have some good opportunities.
Yeah. Another question. Do you think there will be no party until we get a medicine, Bernd?
I mean, we still have parties without medicine. It depends on what kind of parties and about the social distancing stuff, but it's already exists now. And yeah, we'll have to see what it's going to be in the future.
What do you think, Anders?
I mean, of course, a vaccine would be the ultimate thing, but I think medicine would come first, and then we would need to see how good the medicine are. Are people still going to be sick, but are they going to die, or will the medicine help with that? I think that would be the biggest issue for now.
Okay. Next question. What do you think about the Colonel Sanders appearance? Is this the future of festivals? Sponsoring to make it happen? Cone?
You mean like the Ultra, right? Like the
I think
Ultra
it's
DJ set?
the chicken guy.
Yeah, the
Set,
chicken guy,
yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think there are a lot of headliners at the moment. That
Maybe Ronald coming to your party and
yeah, maybe. But I mean, if you told me like the day that Marshmallow came up with the bucket, I was like, okay, this is something new, but it's okay. It's from America. They're a little crazy. But if you would say that he would be a headliner and like main stage on every festival, like 3 years later, that's I mean, it's not my thing to put like Colonel Sanders on the. But yeah, it's a pretty expensive deal to organize festivals. So yeah, I assume they paid a lot of money to do that. So yeah, why not give him a time? It was like time slot opening set, right? Something like that. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not a thing for us, you know.
What do you think, Bernd? Is this something for our club dome?
I don't think so, to be honest.
For Summerburst and Lollapalooza?
I have a hard time seeing just that thing happening. I mean, when you're on the stage, it's you should have the best performance possible at all times, even if it's an early slot, I think. With that being said, I don't know how much cash they got, so I will politely don't say more than that.
How about Mysteryland?
Well, I think this is a two-part question. Well, something like a sponsored slot on the lineup, difficult to justify on a creative perspective, but sponsoring is a part of the festival scene. So if a brand like KFC, from this example, would like to sponsor a certain part of the festival, then that is obviously something that every festival would be open to discuss if there is a sponsoring party. But sponsoring for a lineup, difficult.
So next question, I think maybe it's the last question. Don't you guys think after all these shutdowns, when people are hungry to attend festivals again, people would be satisfied with only one headliner? Anders.
Well,
Ask me is enough.
I mean, we have to celebrate also that we are out of lockdown. We have to celebrate it in the best way possible. Sunburst turned 10 years this year, so we would celebrate our 10 years. And for next year, we're going to celebrate it then. And then we don't going to sheep out. And I mean, it would be possible to take it down. I mean, I think people are going to be so hungry to attend this. But I think we shouldn't come back from this and do a worse product than we had before. I mean, we have one more year to come up with creative ideas to have the fans enjoy the music and everything. So I wouldn't want to go down in some way if it wasn't necessary. If the audience doesn't have the money, it's too much employment and everything, it has to be discussed, of course. But I think we should all aim for doing more for the fans, and then the artists have to help also.
I think you all guys agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I want to thank you all to getting this time for me and discuss. It was really interesting. Thank you for your answers. Thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for your visions. I wish you all the best for next year, and I hope everyone that it's happening and we can go back to normal and celebrate Mysteryland, Festival, War Club Dome, Lollapalooza and Summerburst and all these other festivals you guys promoting and everybody's promoting. And I hope everybody will survive and no one falls down. I want to thank you, Affect, Ibiza Live Radio, United We Talk, Neuraum, and everybody else who was cross-posting this, and the supporters, and of course, BCB family. I wish you all four a nice evening. Next week, we are here on Tuesday and talking with very, very big and interesting artists to get their point of view. And people stay tuned now because we have an amazing stream now with an interesting artist and friend with me. And yeah, thank you all and have a great evening. Bye.
Thank you, Meli, for this
Yes.
great talking. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.